Hey there. So this is a quick demo on how to use TalentSource AI to find candidates for your open positions you're working on. TalentSource AI is basically your team of AI talent sources. So it's taking over the work of checking LinkedIn profile against the predefined sourcer briefing, which usually takes a ton of your time if you're into active sourcing. And we're actually going to look into how to use this setup with Clay. Clay is an amazing tool that's helps you with data enrichment and data orchestration. And TalentSource AI offers an API, so it's easy for you to integrate it into your Clay workflow. For this demo, let's actually look at a role Clay has currently open. They are looking for an enterprise growth strategist, so you might want to check that out. Let's jump into our TalentSource app here and let's create a new job opening and delete them. Once we have that set up, the next step is just creating a sourcer briefing. We actually have a need custom GPT to help us with that. And we can just copy paste the data actually in there. Clay has a bunch of other data on this page. Usually I just drop in the link, but there's so much other information on the page, so maybe we just drop that part. And this is going to create basically a structured checklist of the requirements for that specific role. Most job openings are written for candidates, not for sourcers. So we usually would go in here and streamline that a little bit. So we can, cool thing is we can just use voice also here. So let's focus on the requirements that we can actually identify on LinkedIn profiles. And this way we would iterate a little bit on the different requirements we are looking at and basically giving feedback and so on. On those, I mean, also we are getting feedback, right? So it says some might actually be hard to validate in this setup. Often we actually also have some other pointers. Yeah, but in this case, we're not going to spend too much time on it. Obviously, once you're actually going into a real search, you're going to look a little bit more detailed into what we're putting together here. We're just going to bring this over as a new sourcer briefing into our TalentSource AI. And we can just easily drop that in here and save it. And let's just call this version 1. And we are ready to go. Maybe you just go back actually and get some advice also on how to find those candidates. Please provide me with a LinkedIn search for my sales navigator to actually find a good set of candidates to check against this briefing. Alright, so we get a little bit of advice here and we can brainstorm a bit what to set up. I think the role is in New York. I just copy over the Boolean search. I mean, we want to spend probably some time here as well, but it seems to be very restrictive, the search that was set up there. And then maybe let's go into some niches here. Still 41,000 candidates in New York to review. Probably we would like set up the search a little bit more detailed. In this case, we're just going to go with this. We're going to then use the TalentSource AI to, we have our own extension to export those search results from Sales Navigator, Recruiter, from basically all places in LinkedIn. In this case, let's just limit it for this demo to like the first 10 profiles. And we have this CSV downloaded. So now to check the candidates against this briefing, we can either just upload it here via the UI, but in this specific case, I actually want to showcase how to use Clay for this. So I already set up a table here. I have a template, it's just easily created, and just drop in your API keys. I did this already here. And let's just import the scrape. And the other thing we have to bring over is our ID. So that's the ID of the specific sourcer briefing we just created. All right, and with that set up, we can submit those candidates to be checked. Let's have a quick look at what we're getting back here actually. So we're getting an ID, and we also get a URL to actually check for the results. And what's happening in the backend now is basically that the team of AI talent sourcers is getting a bunch of data and is basically doing a bunch of research and analyzing the profiles in that research. So we're looking at the LinkedIn profile, obviously. We are looking at the past employers and their LinkedIn profiles. We're pulling in a bunch of data, like for example Crunchbase data into those profiles. We have then additionally some AI agents that can autonomously browse the web to do a little bit more additional research, and all of that is being then analyzed by some AI agents to go over the sourcer briefing and basically identify which requirements are fulfilled and which ones are not fulfilled. And we see the different candidates now in here. So this is all happening in the backend. It's going to take a few minutes. Obviously, a bunch of candidates are analyzed in parallel, it takes a few minutes to get done. Generally, the throughput is quite high, so we can do basically the work of a human we can get done in like 30 to 40 minutes that a human would do within a full day, full week. And very, very scalable setup. And what's cool, if you compare it, for example, to having someone, if you want to outsource that part of the job, it's pretty much a black box how someone analyzed a candidate and why a candidate is an A candidate or B candidate and so on. And in this case, once we have the first results coming in here, we can actually look into why someone is a B candidate in this case, for example, right? So like we can look at all the must-haves are fulfilled, some of the nice-to-haves are fulfilled. So it's a B candidate. We follow logic where an A candidate has all the requirements, a B candidate has all must-haves, and some of the nice-to-haves, a C candidate only has the must-haves, and a no-fit candidate is lacking at least one must-have criteria. We can look into the different companies that were analyzed and the data points we gathered basically, and so on. Let me stop here quickly for it to finish, and then we have a look at the Clay table, how the results actually look on that side. All right, so we analyzed all the profiles now, so we could dive into the specifics in here. We could also filter it here and pull out only the export, basically only the ones we want to get in touch with. Can favorite them here, and only export those, etc. But let's have a look how it actually looks on the clay side. So here we can also now go in and get the results from here. And let's look into the results. And I mean, very similar to what we see in the front end also, but we also get the requirements, check source briefing here in a very structured format. So you could even go in clay and kind of filter your based on the specific requirements yourself. We also give you actually the full candidate profile, which is up to date and even a little bit more detailed than the ones you would get from the enrichment via clay. So I think they don't have the skills in there. We provide you basically the full profile, up to date, the research on the employers and so on, and additionally also some summaries. So Noah here is a strong fit for the role with extensive experience in B2B SaaS and customer-facing roles, enterprise customer success, based in New York. He meets key location and industry requirements, and so on. So you can also then obviously use this as a jump-off point to maybe personalize some messaging based on that, and because you have already now an analysis why this profile is great, so you can maybe already highlight those points if you want to create your messaging around that. I mean, that's it. That's TalentSource AI and how it works with Clay. If you're interested in getting access to this, just let me know, reach out, and happy to get you on board. Take care.